Today, we're excited to welcome Paul Frasca, co-founder of Sustainable Salons and Refoil. Paul and Evelina are passionate about helping the hair industry rethink sustainability and salon waste. And today, Paul will share the journey and some practical ways you can make sustainability part of everyday salon life. So tap in and learn with HUSL Education and Paul from Sustainable Salons. I'll pass the mic to you, Paul.
Thanks, Marmy. Well, first of all, thanks for joining and listening to me talk for the next 20 to 30 minutes. Yeah, and as Marmy said, at any time, please drop into the comments any questions. I'll probably get to the questions, if there are any, at the end, just to keep myself going through, because anyone who knows me, I can get distracted, and before you know it, I'll be talking about some hairy subject on Mars. So to get into sustainable salons, what I wanted to do and Refoil in this conversation is really take you to the why. Because at the end of the day, we always say to salons, usually when you're coming on board with sustainable salons, it's a part of your value set. It's something that cares deeply to things that matter to you and also to your clients that are actually walking through the door. Because most people still today always say to me like, oh, I really love what you guys do. It's amazing, but I just don't know if my clients will pay for it. I just don't know if this is the right time. But I always say to them, so this matters to you and your business, your brand, about who you want to be. Well, I think it's about time sometimes you actually talk to your clients and actually show them a little bit of what this world is and actually just ask them. Because I think you might be shocked, especially today, to find out that most consumers are very sustainably minded. And what I actually mean by sustainably minded is it's really about, think of it like this. When you're walking down the street on a Saturday and you're going shopping with your partner or kids or on your own and you're just cruising along, you're definitely today noticing things. And this is what I call after COVID time, is you're starting to notice things on the street. You just want to stick around. Like you look at that butcher and you're like, that butcher really matters to me. I love, he's a great part of our community. Or that bookshop that it's just like, you know what, I'm going to go and buy a book from her. I know I can buy it on Amazon. I can get it maybe $5 or $10 cheaper, but I actually want to go in there and vote with my dollar. Why? Because she's lovely. She matters to this community. And I always say to people, well, that is a big part of what sustainability is. Yes, it's about recycling and taking care of the planet, but it's also about taking care of our community too. And how do you wrap all that up? Well, that's what Sustainable Salons has achieved now for the hair and beauty industry, is we've wrapped that all up to make it really easy for people and salon owners that say, you know what, I really do care about these values. I want it to be plugged into my business and I just need it to be really easy. Because that's really what HUSL is as an app, what Sustainable Salons is trying to make it so easy so you can get on with doing what you love, hair, and we get on with making sure we're ticking those value sets. So let's break into some just pretty simple numbers that I always like to share about the next gen. So this is a pretty interesting stat. Over 60% of Gen Zs are willing to pay more for sustainability. So a couple of years ago, we actually went out to thousands of consumers to actually understand, are consumers ready to pay for the future? Because just like everything, just like your haircut, you got to charge money, right? And the same is going to happen with recycling. The same is going to happen with actually keeping those businesses within the community. But are customers ready to pay that little bit extra that's going to allow that to happen? And what we found really interesting here in Gen Z is, yes, they are. There's a huge proportion of Gen Zs willing to pay that little bit more to actually see this future come alive. Another interesting stat was this: 1 in 4 consumers are choosing sustainable beauty products and services. So again, going back to that analogy that I was just talking about, is they're voting with their dollar. They're saying, you know what, I'm going to go support this brand because it has recyclable packaging, or they have made it in Australia, because that matters a lot to how we keep jobs within the community. Those little aspects are now changing consumer behavior. I'll give an example of this. When I was actually talking to one of the world's biggest CEOs in the beauty industry a couple of years ago, he said to me, Paul, if we don't shift our brand into starting to care for sustainability, we're going to lose around 20% of our market share, because consumers today, they love our brand. And these are big brands, very recognizable brands. They say they love our brand, but they don't like our sustainability footprint. So the consumer is now voting not to buy their shampoo. They're supporting one that is ticking their value set. So all in all, if you get sustainability right within your business and you market it well, and this is something we take on board a lot at Sustainable Salons, is how to market sustainability, you can really start to attract a whole new tribe into your business. And what's been really evident in the Sustainable Salons world is our directory. Our directory has now become the #1 directory in the hair and beauty industry. And to just give you an idea of how many consumers are going through our directory, we're getting around 8,000 consumers every month going in the Sustainable Salon directory, looking for their local sustainable salon to go and vote with their dollar. And where are they mostly playing in that space? Well, I'm going to talk about that a little bit later in my presentation. What I want to do right now is I actually want to show you how do we kind of look to the consumer. So we've got one of our brand videos, and for some of you, or maybe all of you haven't seen this, so I'm just going to play it, and then I'll take you through Sustainable Salons. So the reason, again, I wanted to show that is because sometimes people just don't know our whole world. They've heard about sustainable salons and they said, what does that actually do? Is it just recycling? And then they hear about stories that I'm sure you saw there, that we have over 50% of our employees at Sustainable Salons have disability. So today, that's over 50 people within our organisation that have a disability that are actually processing the materials. We have depots in every state of Australia and New Zealand. So if you're in Queensland, it stays in Queensland, and Victoria, it stays in Victoria. And on top of that, people don't realise is that we actually also send off a lot of these plastics to make things. We have over 15 product lines that are actually made from the shampoo bottles, from the plastic bags that we collect. So let me take you into a little bit of what is Sustainable Salons in general. So Sustainable Salons focuses on 3 key pillars: people, planet, and profit. So on the people pillar, what you notice is, like I said, is we have support employees, but what we do for salons in this space is we create activations where you get out and support your local community. So we put on loads of community events all across Australia and New Zealand, where it could be coming out to doing a depot tour, or you see the image here where we bring you out to help people in need that just need a haircut. It's not always someone who's homeless, it's also families. So we have major events, especially the ones in Sydney called the Eat, Shop, Chop events, where we partner with Oz Harvest and Thread Together, where it's more like a festival. And then we have events like up in Queensland at Third Space, where it's a part of a shelter, where we have ongoing hairdressers that will turn up each first Monday of every month to provide about 2 hours of haircutting service to those in need, mostly homeless people in that shelter. But it's a mixed bag right across Australia and New Zealand. And again, we're constantly creating those experiences for our members because they're always wanting to do more, but just don't have the time and energy to find out how. But that's our job. When it comes to the planet pillar, well, we kick ass in this space. It's all about recycling. It's all about getting those materials separated at the source. So you see inside all of the Sustainable Salons imagery, you'll see all these different bins. We have small ones, like little tiny ones for small spaces. We have big ones for big spaces. We also even have vertical bins that go straight up. If you've got a really tight space, and especially if you're running out of a home or an apartment or inside a shopping center, you need those vertical bins. But basically those bins allow you to separate the materials. So when our drivers come to collect that from you, because we do collect our materials physically from you, we basically bring those materials back to our depot, and then we actually start the final separation process, because yes, some of you will leave a coffee cup in the hair bin, or we might even find that there's been some contamination with plastic in the paper bin. So we do that final separation with our supported employees, and then they're off to be recycled. What we do with those materials, it's pretty cool stuff. As you probably saw in that video, hair is probably our most popular story, but we really invented this space where we started off with hair booms that clean up oil spills. Today, we've moved into multiple products. The second biggest one is the hair fertilizer, which you can actually get from Sustainable Salons too. It's called Soils Alive, where we actually break down the nutrients out of the human hair and we create a fertilizer out of that. And that's going wonderful at the moment. And again, it's also a product that you can actually give to your clients, and they come in these small satchels. They're great for, indoor plants, or if you've got like a garden out the back. And there's always clients that just find this very fascinating, especially if they're into gardening. But one of the other really cool stories with the materials that we collect is things like metals. As Mami was saying, we are the creators of Refoil, which I'll explain in a little bit too. But what is foil? It's a metal. It's recyclable. So we just collect all the metals, we crush it all up, we then sell it, and 100% of those proceeds go to Oz Harvest and Kiwi Harvest if you're in New Zealand. But basically, we're demonstrating the value of waste. And I'm sure probably none of you know this, but nearly 50% of the waste you're throwing out is aluminium. And we just don't realize just how important that metal is. So we collect it, recycle it, donate the proceeds to Oz Harvest. And today, just over 500,000 meals have been created across Australia and New Zealand by selling off your waste. And I think that really shows a lot to consumers when they're getting their hair foiled. And we've got great merchandise to put up in your salon to tell these stories. But basically, when your client's getting their hair foiled, they just feel good knowing all this wonderful work you're doing and the waste that it's creating is going off for a better cause. What else do we do in this space? Well, we do chemical recycling. Again, we take the paper, we've got razors, we've got all sorts. Plastic, I'll just end on this one because plastic is always the one that people are like, what do you do with plastic? And I'm like, well, really cool stuff. Again, you can actually purchase some of these items directly from us, or you get them through your rewards program with Sustainable Salons. But we do combs, coasters, dog leashes, even these glasses that I'm wearing. So basically a whole range of products are now produced from the plastic. And again, this is just a really exciting space to show that all waste can actually be recycled if you collect it correctly. But now I want to move on to the final one, which is the profit pillar. This is kind of the pillar that everyone's like, I don't get it, because they don't usually associate sustainability with profit. And I always say to everyone, no, this is key. It's actually key to the success of sustainability. Sustainability is as how do we represent all key stakeholders inside one business model. This is not just a green movement. This is a community and a sustainable movement, which actually shows that if you can have a profitable business within your neighborhood and you're caring for the planet and the people, well, what type of futures does that build? It builds a beautiful future that everyone wants to live in. So your profit matters. How do we help in this space with your business is in a few areas. One of the biggest areas is, like I was saying earlier, it's our directory. By just being a sustainable salon, you get onto our program. We then get to promote you through our marketing, and we really do push this across Australia and New Zealand really well at the moment, but we're driving consumers to then find you. So for some salons, we see nearly a client every month coming through our Book Now button. And what does that actually mean? So if you ever go to the Sustainable Salons directory, you'll see the directory and you'll see your listing with a Book Now button. And if you're connected to any salon software, we link it directly to that so we can track who these consumers are coming to your business. One of the really big areas a few times a year where we see a huge movement is when some of our big charity events are happening, such as the World's Greatest Shave, where about 20,000 consumers are all looking to cut their ponytails off and donate their ponytails. Or it could be a shaving event where they're just coming to shave their heads. What's great for the business, they're coming to you to have that cut done and they're paying you for it, which is awesome. Another really cool, just also to paint a picture, is how much have we been able to deliver in this space in just the last 2 years? Over $25 million of new business to our sustainable salons, which really shows testament to a product like ours now, that it is a part of the future, that people and consumers are looking for our salons. Another area where you'll see profit is also through our actual products themselves. So our salons can actually take our products. So if you've got reward points, you use your reward points to get, let's say, the combs and coasters and products, and then you can retail them directly inside your salon. We also have some of our members that don't have reward points, so we put it in a cash store, and then it's just like purchasing other items that you normally purchase and then retail them directly to your customer. So in that, we can offer pretty good margins, so everyone can actually enjoy the fruits of not only recycling, but actually selling the waste back to the customer in a product that they really enjoy. That's starting to really paint the picture of how we've built sustainable salons. But I get it. For all of you, some of you are thinking, I really want to do this, but it's maybe not just now. Where can I start? These values really matter to me. Well, we say to everyone, take baby steps in then. If you're not ready to go all in with sustainable salons, and I'll explain the fee in just a second, the best place I always say to salons to start is simply by starting to choose sustainably minded brands. I use the example here of Who Gives a Crap because it's one of our biggest selling items on our reward store, but you don't have to be part of Sustainable Salons to get Who Gives a Crap. You can buy it from Woolworths. You can buy it from so many different platforms. But why support this brand over another toilet brand? Is because it's built for purpose, just like Sustainable Salons. And their story is remarkable, and I won't get deep into that. Jump onto YouTube if you ever want to see where all those funds are going and what benefits they're providing. But what's wonderful is that there is now a brand that where you can buy your toilet paper and it does good for your business. And the best part is if you put that up in the bathroom area where your clients go into the bathroom, they recognize those brands and they like it. So another area where you can make a direct benefit, and we put refoil here, is you can switch to refoil. I'm sure you're all using foil at the moment in your business, but I say, what's that foil doing for your business? Most people say, not much. Well, refoil was built very differently. First of all, refoil was built, to solve the aluminium waste problem, which was producing raw aluminium every year on year. Why don't we just make foil from recycled aluminium? It's so much easier. So Refoil was the first ever company in the world just over 16 years ago to do that. And we not only solved how to make it, we also solved how to recycle it, which led us to build Sustainable Salons. If you ever want to know the whole story, we actually have, Evelina and I did a whole podcast for 3 hours, if you like long form content, and you can hear the whole story from end to end. But basically, Refoil is a simple, easy solution. It's very cost effective, and you can start using a foil that actually cares for the planet. The last one here we put up here is also we have our ponytail program, where many salons right now helping us collect more ponytails because, to be honest, we need a lot. Sustainable Salons takes in nearly 10,000 ponytails every month, which you think should be enough, but it's never enough. All the ponytails we collect go for cancer and alopecia patients, and we donate that hair. So what's really important is we need to have a constant flow of hair coming through, so anyone going through cancer and alopecia can have access to real human ethical hair. So if you'd like to be part of that, you're welcome to just reach out to us and we can supply you with little ponytail kit, and you can start sending us ponytails, and of course, wonderful certificates that you can give to your customer. Again, usually they like to bring their kids in, so they're great for fridges, but we get lots of adults too, as the image here, and they love a certificate too. So I'm just going to actually end. There's a QR code here, and for any of you, you're welcome to hit on that QR code, calculate the impact you can create, because whether you're small or large within our world, it really doesn't matter. We take in all forms of hairdressers and beauticians into our program. It doesn't matter where you're located. We get asked that all the time. I'm in a home, or I'm in a unit, or I rent a chair within a salon. We can work with any environment. It's just about reaching out to us so we can start to understand what your environment looks like and really start to make that change. So I'll just end now on the final thing is, people ask all the time, so how does it actually work? How do you charge for this service? Well, we make it really simple for salons. It's a $3 fee that sits on the end of the bill for each client. That's it. So I'll just explain that again. So if you're charging for a haircut and a color, and let's say it's $150, well, that's probably, you have to say a lot more than that these days, like let's say $200. It's in a sustainable salon, that will be $203. And by adding that extra $3 on, we collect that each week from our members, and that's what funds this whole program. It makes it cost neutral to your business. So you're still making the $200 you needed to cut and style that person's hair. And that extra $3 that gets added to the bill is what we end up taking. And that $3 is what funds the whole program. Now, I'm sure some of you might have some questions and you want to know a little bit more about what it is. And please, there's really no hairy questions that I can't handle. If you ever want to know where the hair ends up, who our partners are, any questions you really want, really want to know, please share them with me. But I'll just pause there for a second. I'm going to come back to your faces because I've been staring at the other screen there. But if any of you have any questions, please shoot them through.
Oh, I have a question.
Please.
With refoil, how it's recycled aluminium, how many times can you recycle
aluminium? Oh, yeah. This is a great question. So first of all, aluminium is no different than gold and silver. So if you wanted to recycle your gold ring, for example, it will recycle back into another gold ring. You wouldn't lose any of that gold in the process. Aluminium is exactly the same. So it can be recycled infinitely for life. Now, just to put that into perspective, how many times do you think you can recycle paper? Anyone want to take a guess on this one?
Not that many times, I guess.
Because people see all the time, they're like, oh, if I put my paper in the recycle bin, I've done good. I'm like, kind of. I would say it's recycling, but it's not sustainability. So what does this, and let me explain that. What does sustainability actually mean? The actual meaning of sustainability means just preserving resources for future generations. So we want to make sure that the next generation has access to foil, so they can foil hair. That's simple. So foil makes total sense to recycle it and to produce it from recycled aluminium. So paper can only be recycled twice. So paper goes from white paper. Once you recycle it, it then goes to a brown recycled paper. And then after that, it goes down in what they call to the wood chips stage. Before then, that's its last form. It can't go much further than that. So recycling paper is good, but it's not the sustainable solution to paper. Marmy or anyone, do you want to take a guess what is the sustainable solution to paper? You're going to laugh when I say this. It's called replanting a tree.
Ah, yes.
That's all it is. So when you actually go to buy things, you'll see everything that Sustainable Salons produces with paper. You'll see this FSC. That's for sustainable forestry. So every time you try to buy things, look out for that symbol when it comes to the packaging, because it means that whoever that company did produce their cardboard or packaging, they also made sure that they replanted a tree for that next generation. So in 30 years, there's another tree coming through. That's all you have to do to focus on that thing. But we should always recycle paper because giving it 2 or 3 lives is always better than just one. Does anyone want to take a guess on plastic? How many times you can recycle plastic?
Does it depend on how those plastics have been recycled? So there's recycled plastics out there that have a variation of different types of plastic. And from what I've heard, I could be wrong, but that recycled plastic that has a multitude of different plastics then actually cannot be recycled because it's got... Is that
true? So okay. What you're looking for at the bottom of every bottle, you'll see numbers going 1 to 7. The one you're talking about is 7. They call that now mixed plastic. That's definitely not a good symbol. Because what that means to then us is that's the end of its life. They've mixed things together now, and it means it can no longer be traced, and that plastic will now have to end up usually in landfill or waste to energy. So it's not a good number, but if you find numbers like 2, or let's say number 1, that's your water bottle, PET, fantastic. They can actually, PET can be turned into clothes. You can actually find clothes and things today made out of PET, which is just remarkable because it's a really unique, easy to work with plastic, where you've got other plastics like most of your shampoo bottles are 2 and 5, also really easy plastics for us to work with. And we can actually recycle, those materials can be recycled usually up to about 4 or 5 times. They do deplete over time, so not 100% comes back, it'll be 20%, then 40%, and it depletes in its rawness. But basically, what's really important in plastic is to send it up the value chain. So what do I mean by that? Well, from a shampoo bottle, I always say it's better to take that up the chain to something like a park bench, something that has a 10, 20, or 50-year lifespan, not a one-use lifespan. Because if we send things back into what they call the repetitive space of just consumable products, it means we'll deplete plastic really fast. We should send it up the value chain. So you'll see us producing things like glasses, combs. These things last a lot longer than just one use. They're used a hell of a lot. I hope I'm not overwhelming you all here with the world of sustainability and recycling, but I hope I always teach you a little bit of something of what's happening behind the scenes, because the truth is, we all have skepticism in this space. Why? It's been messy. Everyone, and if I have to put this one out there, is don't always blame your council. Because people are always like, oh, the council this and the council. I said, the council is not your recycler. They're usually working with somebody who's actually taking it. And that company, they're tied into very big, long contracts with these companies, sometimes 10, 15, and even 20 years. And it's not the council can't take your soft plastic, it's that organisation can't. But then there are organisations like us that can take it. And that does confuse people sometimes. They're like, why is it you can take it, but they can't? And I always say, because every company is built differently. Recycling is not just recycling. Many of the recyclers we know of out there, well, it's not the first business they got into. They probably started in the landfill business. And now they're introducing every year, little by little, things that they want to recycle, but it doesn't tackle all the things that come out of a hair salon. The sad reality is, with a hair salon today, most of the things that come out of your business can't go in a yellow bin. So what can go in the yellow bin is paper, cardboard. All your plastics are deemed contaminated, pretty much, unless it's your milk container. But you put a shampoo bottle in there, any residue left in there, any labeling on that, they will not touch. All the aluminium foil, they deem contaminated because, again, they just see it's got colour still left on it. They don't recycle it. And hair, they've never touched before, so they don't know how to deal with it. Chemicals, they've never touched before, so they don't know how to deal with it. And pretty much just about all the plastic lines, that's not their core focus. So this is why we actually had to exist, because when Evelina and I first started Sustainable Salons, and let me be really honest here, we didn't wake up one day wanting to own depots. I'm just a hairdresser. I'm just an angry hairdresser going, why the hell is nobody caring about this? But when you go through the supply chain, you realize, I get it. It's not your business to really care. We need to build companies like Sustainable Salons, like HUSL, that are designed in a way that are specific to your needs. They're not general organizations. They're designed specifically to solve the problems that you're facing. And that's why Sustainable Salons has become such probably a success, is because we're focused on you. And what does that mean? Let's just be honest. We want it to look good. We're hairdressers. Like, I want my bins to stand out. I want to be so proud. I nearly want to jump in them. I want it to look sexy in my environment. I want stories that matter to me, hair stories. I love knowing I can cut hair and tell the story about a hair boom, or when I cut a ponytail, that's my space. And not only that, we know how to market those stories. So when those stories come through us, well, we know the language that needs to be told. I don't think you're ever going to get that from your yellow bin recycler. The honest truth is, they're just going to be focused on a very general service and happy to just give you whatever they can offer, and that's it. And that's been okay for a while, but I think that's going to change now, because we all want specific services that solve our needs.
Great. Thank you so much, Paul. Does anybody else have any other questions? I know it's great having Paul live here. I know most of you would have probably seen him talk and present in other areas, but this is your opportunity if you have a question. However, though, Paul, fantastic. Thank you so much for putting time aside to speak to the HUSL community. And yeah, please, if you haven't scanned the QR code, guys, please scan it now. However, it is very easy to reach out to the Sustainable Salons crew. Just literally Google it, chuck it into ChatGPT. There is definitely a way that you can contact, reach out, Instagram, even ask me, and I can forward the guys' contacts to you. So Bianca, you have a question. You got your hand up.
Yeah, just I'm fairly new to Sustainable Salon. So all the products, I have had a few clients ask how they can purchase them. Like, as I said, pretty new. So where do I look to supply some of those products in the salon?
Great. Well, first step is always feel free to reach out to us. We've got a team ready, dedicated to work with you, just like Marmy, who can take those phone calls and guide you. We've got an app. Inside the app, you can actually make those purchases through a cash store. So you can actually see the products. So it might be the combs, or you'd like to get some soils alive. You can see all those products there and you can just purchase them directly. But again, as a member, we always say, give us a call first, because we're more than happy to always help out, get you some things. If you say, look, I just want some things to decorate, or it's a part of more merchandise storytelling, well, sometimes we just like to provide those things for you there. Kind of like think of it like your samples. One of our most popular products is our wide tooth comb. I'll show you what that looks like, which is kind of like this comb. It's very simple, basic comb, and it comes in a really fun box. Again, so you can actually set it up in the salon. It tells the story around, and they have 10 combs in there, so you can sell them at usually I think they're about $12 each, something like that, around there. And you get it as a pack of 10. So that's, of course, designed to retail and sell.
Awesome.
So on the cash store.
Yep, I'll have to investigate that a bit more. Yep, thank you.
Can I ask, Bianca, how long have you been on the program? It's been just recently in the last few months?
Oh, literally since Hair Festival.
Ah, cool. Definitely. Well, got to get you some soils alive. Have you got any indoor plants?
In Salon, yes, I do.
Yeah, well, just let us know. We love feeding those. They'll be a gift from us because, again, you get to tell your clients you got hair in there.
They'd love that.
They all think that's a bit weird at first. Yeah, they're like, ugh, hair. And I'm like, it's really not that weird.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Pleasure.
All right. Thank you. If nobody else has got any questions, thank you so much. We've gone a little bit over, but it's been very informative. Thank you so much, Paul. Thank you for everybody that's joined. I will be giving you a $20 wholesale voucher into your HUSL app. And enjoy that voucher. Have a fantastic week. Thank you so much to Paul. And thank you. We've had a couple of the Sustainable Salons team join in today. So thank you, guys. And reach out if you want to know more information about Sustainable Salons and watch this space. We'll have Refoil on in our wholesale shop in the HUSL app very, very soon, which is very exciting. So thank you so much to Paul for spreading the love into the HUSL community.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. All right. See ya.